Very, very simple, and the simplified understanding is in part due to the universe theory, which has its own psyops within it. However, the fundamentals of gravity and understanding how light itself is a product of gravity, okay, and the entire Maya or illusion of withstanding gravity, because ultimately entropy rules all of us. In the end, death fades, you return to dust. From dust we came, from dust we return to. However, by the grace of God, we get to harness the light and be the light. Okay, but that's not something you can do with a pill. It's not something you can do with a mandate. It's something you can do by looking inside yourself and discovering, how the sun above and your heart within have a natural law that they all obey. So where's the beef? Where's the beef? There is no beef. I want to help people make more beef. Okay, don't take away my beef. I'll help you make your own. You want to give birth to 1,000 million cattle, and start a cattle preserve? That's all good and fine and dandy, and that's part of the treaty. I'm gonna pioneer to memorialate the 12 monkeys psychological operation, that in the minds of what do you call them, vegan Nazis, justifies violence, because in their mind it's by any means necessary, and a little bit of violence here, a little bit of property damage here, is going to result in less violence over there, right? Even though this little property damage here might result in accidental death or intentional death, or we'll kill off the evil scientists to save the animals or whatever. Okay, but guess what? These are all domesticated animals, so you're not really saving them because you're destroying the infrastructure that they're symbiotically dependent on. Which is why I have the solution, the cattle preserves and all of that. And you can have the different. And is massaging a cow's utter evil? I mean, is milk bad? Isn't that another symbiotic relationship? Don't you think the cow appreciates? I'm not talking about a milk machine in factory farming. I'm talking about having your own cow and, rewarding the cow with another massage, and then you get rewarded with milk. That's evil all of a sudden. Okay, so this madness, needs to end, but until the grammar is fixed, and this whole left, right, you're left, you're right. Well, you can't not talk about it, because that's just, then you've got to come up with another system, right? The base grammar is there, and this gravity, light, yin yang is so obvious when you just stand back. You go, wow, that's so freaking amazing, And I go to bed. I'm in an entropic state, and I get up in the morning, and it takes me time to get going. So how do you withstand the gravity of the day, the gravity of the situation, the gravity of people's moods? With exercise, with positive interactions, scripture. So this is how the right transitions to the light, to the left, the true left. But if you're going to have this thing where, racism is just de facto, it's understood to be, there's only, it's really only white people that can be racist. Well, then now you're controlling language. So you're going on an even higher dimension of controlling the way people think and speak, and they're even too scared to speak their minds for fear of being labeled. So then that is a way more controlling situation, that racism against white people or whatever, Paw Patrol, they're not canceling it, so I'm not gonna get caught up in a Snopes. Oh, Snopes said that they're not canceling it. Yeah, but the show makers did align themselves with the protest. And what is the beef again? Cops are being displayed in a positive archetype. We don't want people to call the cops when someone's breaking down their door. We want them to call the Girl Scouts. I mean, Is this where we're at now? Oh, as straight people, we shouldn't display straight people on TV because that's an oppression to gay people. Because straight people now you're showing straight people on TV, loving each other, raising families, but we know that's an oppressive environment, just a display. You're feeding into a positive archetype of straight people, and the cisgenders, they need to understand that they're inherently oppressive. Oh, I'm sorry. Even if you show a cow being milked by a family farmer, that's an oppressive act. So now that needs to be banned from TV. We can't have displays. You can't show a positive symbiotic relationship between man and domesticated animals because that affirms the archetype that human beings are superior to animals, and that's inherently oppressive because there's a hierarchy. I mean, it's that thought control is the ultimate fascism, racism, sexism, genderism, transism. If you're controlling thoughts, then you can't even be tranny. Because even to think that you want to dress up or whatever is a thought crime. You know, that's where when you read George Orwell, who was a British agent and kind of wrote from that experience, the whole ultra-right, left-wing posing as ultra-right mandate from heaven, that this magic bullet, is going to solve everything, is the totalitarian system of control. That we've been told to think in a certain way and act a certain way, and that's going to solve everything. That control on your thoughts, on what you say, okay, that is the most obvious control. What is the statistic now? 9 people a year, unarmed black people, die from cops, and that includes like the case of a guy driving around with a shotgun in his car, but he's not armed because the gun's not in his hand. So if we were to say risk analysis, let's eliminate, the low-hanging fruit. Let's focus on the things that can heal the most people, and then we'll start attacking those very, let's save the lightning strikes for later. Yeah, maybe every house should have a lightning rod. We should develop a way that you can walk and you have a lightning rod so that if lightning strikes, the rod will get hit, not you. Okay, but how many people die of lightning a year? I mean, is that what you're going to focus on? While people are dying from heart disease and all these other things that can be fixed. Oh, a drug addiction. That's what we know most people die of if we were to do a survey amongst ourselves. So, kind of back to basics, right? But this thing of gravity and controlling people's thoughts and understanding how this fake fraud left, neoliberal left, communist, socialist left, because it comes down to government fixes prices, wages, whatever that government central authority that knows better than the farmer, that knows better than the master, that's the beginning of the end. So, I'll, keep on coming at me, and I'll keep setting things straight, and keep getting spun by the news, and I'll get you unspun every time, because I know from the 7 years in SEIU, I know from the insurance industry experience, I know from the meeting recovery experience, 12-step ecosystem, I know from having to change Michelle's diapers to having to change my dad's diapers, what it is to bathe someone's feet, and if they tell you the water is too cold or hot, to listen, and understand how do you serve people, right? And of course, there's so much hazard involved in all of it, but that's the experience, strength, and hope right there. And the shit show on television is just further drawing us into this gravitational cesspool, where my whole Orwell point is, just because in that cesspool someone's leading a march now, or is the TV spokesperson now, or the Black Lives Matter, or whatever movement leader now, doesn't mean they're not going to end up in the gulag later. In fact, it's guaranteed based on the historical analysis. Not just my 7 years in SEIU, topsy-turvy, but 100 years in Russia, China, you don't stay on top in these mob environments, someone else is going to bring you down, and it just keeps on going. So we are the resolution, Creekside Recovery, the recursive algorithm where the outputs go back and are the inputs, like Calvin in his song said, the man who coined the term star mind, as long as the outcome is income, So this outcome of Creekside Recovery are able-bodied people, bringing more people in. And it's just a huge, vast army of monks, which is how the whole monastery thing and the Mongolian, so it's that very fine line, are we creating warriors? Well, warriors of light, to burn people down, well, to burn their ignorance down, metaphorically speaking, and to build up great structures that can withstand any flood, any, drought, or whatever, and bring us finally into that space age where we're colonizing the moon, make the moon green.